Good afternoon, May 1st. The sun's out. It's above 60. I'm happy. I have some guests with me today. We're going to be talking about art as usual, and we're going to have a good time doing it. And I've got an artist friend of mine.
Okay.
There he is. And we're going to have like not really an interview, but we're just going to discuss some things. Like I want to ask Keith about his experience working downtown on a mural. And where is that mural located, Keith?
That mural is actually located on the corner of Stark and Elm Street.
All right.
It was a great experience. It was actually part of an event where we had Manchester Connects. They had a bunch of different murals around the city, trying to influence people to, explore more of the art around town and, explore the city in a different way. So it was a really cool experience.
Right. And you got tagged too, didn't you? Some kid came up and...
No.
And you didn't get tagged? I thought you got tagged.
We didn't get tagged. The other two murals that were done got tagged. They were done by the New Hampshire Institute of Art for this event.
Okay, those are the ones on Elm
Connects.
Street, right?
Those are the ones on Elm Street. The one on the corner of Elm and Stark is Keith's. Wait a minute, it's Keith's. All right, it is Keith's, and there he goes, and that's his contribution to the city.
Yeah,
It's a great experience.
What kind of paint you use? Artist paint or house paint?
I use spray paints.
Oh, spray.
Montana
that's right.
Gold. I prefer to use. Use a lot of open air art because it just gets that large scale.
What if it's a windy day?
Going.
You can use acrylics on a brush too, right?
Yeah, I used to be a brush painter prior to using cans, but on a windier day, it's not it's not ideal to be spray painting in, but you work with it.
Right.
You work with it.
So you enjoy doing work like that?
Oh, I love it. It's quick. It's fast. It's
Guilty. This is
It's a quick, easy way to get it out.
Yeah.
To get out your expression, and it's fast, vibrant, great coverage. So and it's a lot. You can do stuff large scale, like in a matter of time. No time compared to brushing it by hand.
Usually plan them out, or do you have them preconceived idea in your mind what you want to do, and then do it? Or
a lot of the times it's just natural, just comes right. Just comes out of me. But certain things, certain pieces are commission based, so you have some guidelines you have to follow. Or
there's always certain protocol somewhere.
Yeah.
We were very fortunate to have the opportunity to do this event, and I hooked up with or met Keith at Art Jam Bridge Fest last September. And when I saw some of his art, I said immediately, we have to include him on the murals on Elm Street.
There we go.
And you actually have one of your murals here, well, not murals, but paintings here that was inspirational for us to do that.
Yes, I do.
It's on the floor.
I actually, one of the pieces I brought today was a rendition I did, kind of an abstract form of Manchester. I have a lot of the, the front, the brickwork, and kind of representation of the mills, and my little take on Manchester cityscape.
Right. You believe that history is important when you're doing artwork in a city like Manchester?
Oh, definitely.
The history of the city and...
Definitely. The piece I did on Stark Street was kind of like was a past, present, future representation of the city, because the past, everything that we learned upon, and everything that has been given to us as young kids, now we could show our vision of it,
right.
In our city now, our version of it,
You have to. If you have a past, you have a present. Without a past, there is no present. So a lot of, I've read a couple articles, saying that no, we shouldn't do historical murals anymore. We should move ahead to the future. But they're contradicting themselves, and I don't think they realize it. There's no logic in thinking there's going to be a future without a past.
Yeah, of course.
And it's something that you grab a hold of, and you grab a hold of it because it's your reality at that time. It's the history. It's going on it's something that you appreciate because you're still here. You're able to work. Manchester's a functional city. You look at the mill buildings, over 200 years ago or something like that. I mean, at one time it was the largest factory establishment in the world, and that says a lot.
Yeah, why would we ignore that great history? You know?
Exactly. So if somebody wanted to paint the Mill Girl or some historical buildings, you wouldn't have a problem with that, would you?
Not at all.
They're iconic.
No, not at
I
all.
mean, no one owns that. The city owns that. So any chance for anyone, whether young or old, to be able to make a representation of that is only a win for us because it's called storytelling.
Yeah,
Right.
definitely.
Right. It's
Good way to put it.
Yeah.
my vision has been for a long time. I've done several murals publicly in Manchester, and luckily they're still in existence. I would like to see more murals in the downtown area, but protected and respected. That's why my group that I started over 10 years ago is the installation and preservation of public art. But also that has to have respect, because people say some of these kids with a spray can they're really good. And I say, yes, they really are. Some are. I don't think they realize the talent that they do have. And I think they get that from constantly doing it and experimenting. But the negative thing about that is they're doing it without permission, and they're putting on public property, private property, and even public property like city property. I would like to see these kids more or less go in the direction of having a designated area. And I've said this 100 times, and I'm a great believer in designated areas where these kids could go. Every year we could have contests.
That would be a great thing to have
You know?
established in the city.
That way,
All you need is a couple concrete walls. You know what I
Right.
mean? Everyone's buff it out and start again. You know,
right.
that would be a great concept.
I even designed the walls in my head. None of them would be over 6 feet tall.
Well, just even in general, just getting other kids involved in
Right.
in the big city murals and like events and volunteer. You know, having kids volunteer like that to just be a part of stuff around the city. You know.
That's one of the things when we sat down, the three of us and other artists and other people that are in particular about art. I want to have a think tank discussion and not just talk about it, but look at viable ways to get it done,
And-
working with these children. And then with Dan here, Jupiter Hall, to me that is something that we have needed for a long time. And I want to ask Dan, how was Jupiter Hall coming, and what is your feelings? I know you and your wife Katie, you're working, and then you're doing that on top. But
Right. Well, I used to wear long sleeves, but I kept having to roll them up, so I just got short sleeve shirts.
there you go.
And it's a wonderful experience. We're really thrilled to be able to have Jupiter Hall in existence and being a part of the community. That's what we want to be. We want to be a part of the community. We want to add to the community experience here in Manchester. And we'll do anything from spoken word, dance, music, film, performance, art gallery, all as an experience for people to come, whether they be visitors or downtown residents or from Manchester
Right.
or from within New Hampshire. And we're particularly thrilled to have Keith with us through May 17th at Jupiter Hall. And we have a couple of more exhibits and art shows that will happen with Keith, or I should say events with Keith, like live painting this Thursday for the Hippo de Mayo Taco Challenge. We'll be out there, and Keith will be with our piano that Keith is so magically transforming.
Yeah, it should be a fun little event.
It's looking good so far.
Yeah.
I would like sometime to have you guys back on and get some film of that, video of that, or maybe we could show that on my show of you working and
I'd love
put
to.
that all together. Because I'm about as high tech as a grasshopper, but
We
I'm
can help you
trying.
with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I want to
We can
get.
help you with
It's
that.
not that I'm stupid. It's just I don't have the finances to go out and just buy a computer and this and that. And once I get that hands-on experience, which I need, then I'll be able to design my own blogs and
Part
put
of what
my
we-
work on YouTube and.
Part of
Hands
what
on.
we
Things
have
that
at
you
Jupiter
do.
Hall, it's a creative space. So
Right.
we have a digital lab there that we'll be able to make available for people that we work together with, because when we started it, we found that it was severely lacking a dedicated venue in New Hampshire that would
Right.
allow people to get together, create, share, etc. So build an audience and whatnot. So
Right.
absolutely, we love that. In fact, I want to help you get your show archived on the air because this is you.
You know, that's
This
what
is your-
Jupiter Hall is all about. It's about,
Yeah.
you know, a community place for everyone, you know, different levels of artists, different outlets just to get together, you know. It's a,
Oh, yeah,
it's
I
a
can
great
feel
place
the
for that.
energy already.
It's a great place for that.
I get a little excited, but it was, you almost feel like giving up. I mean, it's not just me. I'm not sitting here whining and crying about it. It's something that I know, don't think, I know is vital to humans. Human beings need a lot of things besides their ordinary, let's go to work, come home and eat routine. They need that time to get out and to be involved in something that they really love, whether it's music or going to the palace and seeing a play or standing on the sidewalk and looking at murals or watching an
Yeah,
artist
everyone's
do a
got to
mural.
get together once in a while, you know, different things, experience. You
The
know?
revitalization, I guess, is the most important word. I would like to see that. And when I met Dan last fall, he talked about this. And the first thing that came to my mind was, I've heard it all before. But this guy's following through. And I said to my artist friends, gee, I think this Dan is serious. And then when I saw the artwork on Elm, even though it's not completed yet, some of them, I said, wow, what happened? Something's...
It's nice to see it out.
Yes,
You know?
it is.
I don't know how to respond to that, but thank you. But you know, it's about just believing in what you want to do to give back, or as each of us as local individuals can lead in some sort of way to bring together people. And going back to the Elm Street mural on corner of Stark and Elm, we're so lucky that Dave Schleiler and Newton Kershaw were able to allow us to be able to use those spaces until their building becomes finished, because they're doing on the first floor.
It's a great point. It's a
yes,
great point because we need more businesses like that, just willing to,
right.
you know.
Will he
volunteer-
preserve
aesthetic,
them?
too.
Will they be
volunteer
preserved?
spots like that.
Yes. So what we're doing is, so that the first floor is going to be a restaurant, and then apartment buildings up above. So we're going to be taking all of the murals down when they are ready, and then Mentor Connects will be doing some extra activity work with displaying that, and maybe even raising funds, you know,
do
with the murals.
When you say remove, literally take the wood off?
Yes, because they're going to put windows up, and we'll take them. In the case of Keith's mural, we're going to take that and bring it to Jupiter Hall and finish it off, you know, so that can be displayed not only at Jupiter Hall but throughout the city. And I think that's important, to be able to have artwork that can be transportable, that can be in different places. And I hope that this is an example for all of our local businesses out there to be able to think, well, this is something that can add value to my business, to the experience of people coming to my restaurant or shop or organization. And this is what I believe is all about demonstrating how arts and culture has a direct impact to the city. At the same time, it builds the community of people that we want to see downtown.
Right.
And coming into downtown, whether they be local residents or visitors. If we can bring more visitors to see the beautiful artwork that is being done by the many artists that are within the city, we all win. It's people helping
Yep,
each
it's a
other,
win-win.
and
Right.
it's so
Drawing people back to
Right.
the inner city. I've lived there for a number of years, and I lived here in the 70s, 80s, moved back and forth to Nashville, and when I was working a commercial painter. But I remember people on the sidewalk playing acoustic guitars. I remember people sitting out in chairs with the umbrella over, eating the food, and elderly people, not afraid to walk the streets, which they are now for obvious reasons. But I would like to see that revitalized. I mean, we're a city that's vibrant. We're the largest city in the state. And I think that we have the talent. In fact, I know we have the talent in this city to move that forward. And hopefully, I'm back on the Art Commission, that we can get some things done. And I would like more input from business owners and restaurant owners. And what do you think about that, Dan? You think that's
Well, let's ask Keith.
Well,
Because,
definitely, that's huge. Having more of that live painting and having more artists just out, just doing their thing out on the street is huge. That's a
Right.
great thing. That's the live painting is what I want. Everyone wants to see.
right?
So it's a great way for everyone to enjoy something new.
It's we did Litchfield Lane. I'm the art director for Eagle Eyes, and the founder Cheryl Mitchell just died just about 2 weeks ago. She was buried this past Saturday, and
Sorry
one
to
of
hear
her things was Litchfield Lane. It started out one artist going in and doing one mural, and then him going home and calling his artist friends on the phone, and eventually one day there were 15 of us. We just took the whole alley, and then we took part of the alley. We had permission, of course, and everything,
Yeah.
but we had children working with us. But we did these murals, and then we'd all take a lunch break, and everybody, and it was just a great feeling. You got all these artists out there, and every single painting was different.
It sounds like a fun project.
Right, and then,
But at the same time, let it be an example of what can happen with other artists in other alleys or
Right.
public city property or businesses that want to have something on the side of their building that welcomes people.
right.
Yeah, more open air galleries like that all over
Right.
the city would just be great.
Right.
And the good thing,
'Cause then they get
we
more
weren't
respect
tagged.
for it, and people will preserve it better.
Right.
I
We
can't wait
weren't
until it becomes
tagged.
ubiquitous.
We weren't tagged, and that was what stuck out. But all around the murals, some right next to it were tagged. But we figured it out is because we let the children work with us. We handed them a brush and said, with parents' permission. You have to be very careful when you're doing public art, like when
Yeah.
you're working with children. I had to follow so much protocol, so
Yeah,
many rules.
because everyone gets their own respect for it.
Right.
You know?
But it was a great thing. It lasted over 10 years. We ended up on Chronicles for it because they were amazed that it hadn't been tagged. I think that's the number one reason, because you involve the community. You want to be a part, you want to be involved, and that's what makes it.
I mean, people are doing many things in this city, from wearing art to, creating art that's hung on walls or standing in place as placemaking or a sculpture.
Yeah,
I
'cause
mean, you mentioned yourself, Keith, your T-shirt was created by a friend of yours.
Actually, yes. The T-shirt I'm wearing is an artist, French, out of San Antonio, Texas.
Is that your design?
No, that's his design.
That's his?
Yeah, that's a T-shirt he designed. I met him out in San Antonio when I was doing a mural out there.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of a setup like you were talking about. Each artist had their own mural, but this was a huge, large scale. You're talking each artist had like a 10 foot by 20 foot mural,
Ooh.
and there was 25 to 30 artists just all in a row. It was
There you go.
it was an amazing exhibition. My friend Kyle William Harper out of California is one who curates it all with a lot of guys from out in San Antonio, and it's just like it's an amazing experience because you see large mural and street art all over San Antonio. It's a lot bigger out there, but things like that we had going on at that specific weekend. The wall was paid for, and it was all a lot of people from the community. You had people that were in the houses around the mural, just sitting out in their lawn chairs,
Yeah.
grilling, just watching everyone, do their thing and create art. And it's a big community aspect to it, and that's something I
Right.
think in Manchester would just be so great to see.
It's my hope that we can get Manchester to be known as a city of murals. I keep saying this, but I
Yeah.
believe in it, and to be able to create that public experience of people enjoying art while it's being created. We have many streets and many businesses in downtown Manchester that would benefit from this.
Exactly.
For instance, this Thursday, this is on a larger scale, Hippo de Mayo Taco Challenge, they're closing down Elm Street. But what's to stop us from closing down another street or closing down a block of Hanover Street during the summer? Or that's why I really enjoyed and got to tip my hat to WZID for starting Art Jam Bridge Fest last year, because we met that way. And if we can create these events that put people outside and give the ability for people to meet each other, this is one of the most direct ways in how our city can become a better city, by people meeting each other, like dynamics, sharing, collaborating together. You never know who you're going to meet that's going to change your life, or
Right.
work together
Yeah,
on your next
we
project.
met off the whim that day, and we've had 5 or 6 different events, ever since then, and over the last
What's it called
year.
now, Dan? Is this still going to be called the Art Bridge Fest?
I'm not sure. We'll have to get an update.
But
from,
they are going to definitely have it this year. I heard it's
I
going to be in
bel-
Arms Park.
I believe so, but don't take my word by it. Bring on
I don't think
Lucy
it's a definite
Chuckmarkers
yet.
from WZID or something. Interview her or whatnot.
Yeah, I could do that.
I don't think
One
it's a
quick
definite-
thing, show your other painting, because I
Oh, this-
really think it's
It's
representative.
another
of
little
what you
example
did.
of some of my art. One of my owls.
And what's great about these, some of Keith's painting, Keith used luminescent colors.
I love to use the luminescence because they reflect in black lights and reflect in UV lights. So it's like two different paintings in one. You get what you can see in a regular light, and then when you add a different light to it, or at nighttime it glows and gives
You're right.
it two totally different effects. It's pretty cool.
And you're doing it with the street piano that we have at Jupiter Hall, and that just gave me an idea that when you talk about two different meanings, can you imagine when it's being hit with black light, there's some symbolic icon or something or whatever.
Yeah,
That's fun.
definitely gives you a
I
lot.
like
It
that.
definitely gives you a lot of different outlets.
Yeah.
It's fun.
I'd like to
painting.
collaborate with you on a mural.
That would be really fun. I
You
would,
and
I
I
would
do a
definitely
mural.
enjoy
Dan
that.
was talking about us doing one for Jupiter Hall or something, or working down there or whatever.
We have plans.
I know you were saying there
uh,
was something in the works. I don't know if you're talking about that other mural with.
Oh, which Pappy's?
Yeah, I just don't know if that's something you're
What I have to
discussing yet. So
What I have to do is contact her. Very busy woman. She owns it. I have to. In fact, I'm going to go see her today because I live like 3 blocks away. I have to get a time that she can meet, and I'm hoping that it's more than 1 or 2 days a week.
Yeah.
Because the people I work with, one of them works for the government, sometimes 6, 7 days a week, and the other one's a school teacher, and she's really busy. So what I need to do, my job is, as it's always been, I guess, is to coordinate this, get everybody to meet, and we're going to have a little meeting with Kasha, the owner. And she said, I have some ideas of my own, but I want to see some designs. I need to get with you and the rest of the artists. I'm pretty familiar with their artwork. Your work is a little different than mine, but my work and your work can collaborate because I do other things than I show publicly.
well, the
already
concepts
has
you were
given me
throwing out
ideas.
to me the other day, it sounded like we could do something really cool together.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be.
It's just
think
a
it'll
matter of
definitely
me.
be
Like
fun.
most of my murals,
That's the best way to do it. Have two different styles
Are
colliding
us-
together.
That's
Historical.
beautiful when they intermix together like that. That
Yeah.
certainly tells a
It'll
story. and
work.
It also
that's what you have to do.
defers to the idea of diversity in our city.
Right.
So think about that.
You have to do it that way because I work with other artists and every one of us are different. Their color, like I work with Debbie Curtin, she's completed, I think we've worked on a number of mural projects. I had 2 that one the city of Merrimack hired me to do, and I called her in on that. Her choice and use and mix of colors is entirely different than mine. But when you put them together, it works. So I've seen your work, and I know that
it's funny how things just how end
Right.
up working out like that.
it can be endless. It depends on how you're looking at it. But I don't see any reason why you and I couldn't collaborate and come with something that we both enjoy.
The first of
Yeah.
many.
Definitely.
First
I
of
think we
many,
need to go get some pizza after this.
Yeah, that sounds
I'm
good.
definitely down with
Oh,
that.
I've got a lot of talking to do. When you say you're doing a mural in the public like that with somebody, I mean, there's a lot of things you have to go through. People need to be aware of, like the owner. She says, "Well, I need to meet everybody, and I have to I have to know what's going on." And I said, sure. She looked us up on the internet. She come running right out of Pappy's, and she said, "You guys got it, but I'm not too sure what it's going to be yet." And that made me feel good. Now I feel like rawhide. I got to round up all the people and get them on the same page, because if you're not on the same page, that's where the communication leaks come in, and then you're
It gets difficult.
right. And I like to get things done.
But you're doing it the right way. You're getting the community to buy into it,
Right.
along with the people that own the wall. That's Perfect.
And there's a
Can't wait.
mural on there
Covers both
already, but
aspects.
it was a mural that they don't like anymore. It had something to do with Cinderella dancing school or Cinderella acting school, and it's faded. The integrity is still pretty good, but you can tell that it's a little faded. But I'll be in touch with her soon, and then you said you wanted to be a part of that.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And so I think all of us can sit down. Maybe perhaps we could meet at Jupiter Hall sometime with some designs and just kind of merge them and see what's going on. I've got one design already from somebody, and we'll do it. And you know, it's
Yeah,
a
it'll be great.
nonprofit. Nobody's going to get paid for it. Everything, she said that she would be willing to buy all the paint. And
Free pizza for life.
hopefully, yeah. She hasn't heard that part yet, but I'm sure she will.
Papa's is a great staple in Manchester, so
Right.
being a part of that.
That's been around for I don't know how
And they've
long.
always
Be really
been
cool.
community oriented with
Yeah.
with what they do. So
I remember the owner there, Pappy. They used to call him Pappy. I met him a couple times, and then he passed on.
may it be another inspiration for people to get involved in the city.
Right. This is re-energizing my whole outlook on art in Manchester, because for so long it just seemed to be sterile to me and to other artists too. I haven't really met a whole lot of muralists. I know you do mural work. The people I work with, they've done smaller murals. But I think murals are a good way of opening the door to everything we've been talking about.
Definitely.
Come in and look. And I would like people to come around while we're working and see what we do and how
see
we
the
do it.
progression.
And people take pictures, and then word of mouth and publicity, and that's it's ground roots, but it works.
That's all we can hope for,
Right. It's going to be a good year. We've had a winter that wants to hang on, but we've had them before. And I think once things get going and we have that think tank meeting, we'll meet at Jupiter, and then we'll have some fun, and we'll plan, and we'll have some things.
I like that. We'll meet at Jupiter.
Yeah. Well, he started. It's too late now.
Yeah, exactly.
It's getting. I'm putting the word out. Jupiter Hall. I tell all my artist friends, Jupiter Hall.
He
I should have named it Mars.
He opened the door to
Mars.
us. Now you realize he's in some trouble. So
Yeah. But I've already
Bring it.
seen glass fusers and glass cutters, and this is it. Now, if he goes to sleep, then we're going to have to wake him up. Say,
That won't
don't close down, because we really need this.
We won't be closing down.
Really
We're in it
do.
for the long term.
there's plenty of fresh art running through the city
There's-
to keep that
absolutely.
place busy. For
And one thing
a long
Dan
time.
said to me too that made sense was he liked music, dancing, and theater.
Plus, there's
So-
other ways of bringing other artists, like I was mentioning before. Other like my friends out in California,
Yeah.
Kyle William Harper, bringing other artists that he knows from out west over here. And
Right.
just collaborating between the two, and the other artists from anywhere. So
I would like
that's
to
what we
thank
want.
Dan and Keith from coming on the show, and I definitely will have him back.
I still have to interview you, so that's going to happen.
Okay, he wants to interview me, so I come in nervous. But we're going to do it. I want to thank them both, and I know that I'll have them back. This is, to me, is like an energy pack. I've set up many tables and listened to a lot of talk. I think this is going to happen. Again, I would like to thank my guest, and I will see everybody in about
Thank
2
you
weeks.
for having us. Appreciate
You're
it.
welcome.